Hello, welcome to Our Lives After, a TTJRPG campaign featuring Fabula Ultima. You're watching the finale, episode 6 of our limited series.
I got so excited. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Blackbird Revolt, Peku, Hero Forge, Storyteller's Nest, Tom Cardos, and Weirdworks. We'll have more information about our sponsors during our scheduled break.
We also want to thank Alexander Nakarada, Duzin, Emma Panada, Epidemic Sound, Jay Stratman, Uriah, Murgos, and the Lady May. These folks helped make our series very special.
We will have our content warnings up in just a moment. A gentle reminder to please take care of yourselves, and if the show becomes too much, we encourage you to step away for a moment to make sure you're okay.
And with that, let's go around the table and introduce everyone. Please tell me who you are, who you're playing, and we can start with Emma.
Hi, it's me, Emma, also known as Emma Panada. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Emma Panada. I am the GM, so I don't play anyone technically, but I also play everybody. So that's me. Drac, who are you?
I'm Drac. Hi, I'm Drac or Draconics. I use he, they pronouns, and I'm playing today Adana, who uses any pronouns. I'm going to throw it over to Alex.
Hey everybody, this is Alex. I use he, him pronouns, and I play Loveless, who also uses he, him pronouns, and I got struck by lightning, so we'll see how that goes, and I'll pass it over to Liv.
Hey, I'm Liv. I use she, they pronouns, and I'll be playing Cielo, who uses she, her pronouns. And you are just in luck because Cielo is a singing bard that actually heals and supports. Genshin Impact could never! All right, passing it over to Piper.
Hi everyone, I'm Piper. I use they, them pronouns, and tonight I am playing Hey Sinclair, who uses he, they pronouns. And I have not been struck by lightning, thankfully. I'm gonna pass it on back to Stella.
Hello, I'm Stella Luna on Twitch, Stella Luna TV on all other social media. Today I'll be playing Viscera. We both use she, they pronouns, and we are also in the club of people who have not been struck by lightning. So, before we continue, we want to take a moment to talk about the ways that you can help Palestine. Please join us and millions of other people in global solidarity for an immediate call for ceasefire. We've collected several resources for easier access, and you can use !FP for Free Palestine at any point during the stream for these links. And now for the recap.
I do apologize in advance. Right when we were going live, my dog decided that she absolutely needs to go outside. She's lying. She doesn't need to go outside. But if you hear whining and barking, I'm so sorry. Okay. So Crichton left her father's home. That was like the first kind of thing that we got into last session. And finally we got to, or not finally, but like spoke to the rest of the group since we were all outside. She assumes Adana can sense a curse since she is a lay mark, a new term to most of us, except for our good white-haired husbando. Thank you so much, Loveless, for being our guiding force throughout all of this. What would we do without you? But yes, so she then offers us payment, and we agreed on 3,000. Definitely should have asked for more, but it's fine. And then when Crichton actually sees Nadia's bow, that starts like a whole tension. Things calm back down, and Nadia admits that Halle actually has some sort of connection. So warn Sinclair about this. Also, during my research, like looking back on all this, Sinclair really is kind of like the lore master. Thank God. Without Sinclair and Loveless, I don't know what we would be doing. But yeah, so Nadia is the one to tell Sinclair that the Mesk champion is actually immortal, which is a whole issue now that we have to deal with. We as a group decide that we want to prioritize saving the town if necessary. If we have to pick a priority, it's going to be the town. And Viserys suggests that we go with Crichton in the morning to try to stop her. That is our big secret plan. We get some fun lore drops throughout the rest of the session, like there is no moon and the west. Those fucking things. That was like a whole discovery. And Sinclair ends up talking with Halle to learn more about Crichton's family. Halle confirms that Griggy and, okay, how do you say Crichton's brother's name again? I'm so sorry. Drea, yes. Griggy and Drea were killed by the Mesk. So Halle says, yeah, 100% that's what happened. When Crichton returns, she promises to guard the town and help with like a migration with if everybody has to move. And Halle says, absolutely not. I do not want to leave. I'm not leaving. You can't make me. And warns Crichton who again will not budge. Adana then spills the beans and asks if an immortal can be killed, something we were not supposed to know. Sinclair tries to convince Crichton again, who could legitimately not care less. During the night, though, we do see Halle, the audience sees Halle grab a box of cards that look suspiciously like Adana's. And then, in a strike of lightning, we see Zone, the champion, illuminated in the middle of the night. Now, again, I don't know if I pronounced that correct. It's been 2 weeks, okay?
You're doing great.
Thank you so much. The next morning, we try to stop Crichton, who brutally attacks us. And as we fight, a storm starts to build. We stop when we see Griggy?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just saying like dramatic.
Okay.
I'm in my acting Eva for this. No, we see Griggy calling to his daughter because like, what the fuck? And then lightning strikes again, and in Griggy's place, we see Zone, warning that he will kill all that comes. And then leaves.
Yep.
And that's what you missed Our Lives After. This is why we always have Alex do the research. I'm not serious.
You did great. Thank you so much.
Great. That was wonderful.
Liv had to read like my 5 or 6 pages of notes on
there was
what
just
happened
so many
in the
notes
past.
about how Crichton was so hot, and it was really.
Anytime you as players mentioned Crichton maybe being hot, I included it in the notes somehow. So that's you all. That's not me.
Yeah.
So
my bad.
If any of our live viewers want to interact with the game, please use the command !surge in chat for more information. We hope you all enjoy the show.
Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, death, regret, vengeance, stress, complex relationships, grief, loss of loved ones, betrayal, and isolation.
The smell of scorched flesh lifts into the air as light rain pours down from above. The bodies of Lovelace and Crichton, beaten and bloody, lay on the ground, twitching from the strike of lightning from moments ago. The champion of the mask, Zoln, issues a final warning. I will kill all who come. Do not come. Before turning to head back to the forest. Nadia looks towards the bodies of Lovelace and Crichton, unsure if they're dead or hanging onto life, but then looks towards Zoln. An expression crosses their face, not of anger or sadness, but of inquisitiveness. A question hangs heavy in their mind, but with each step Zoln takes, Nadia's ability to ask anything slips away. Your bodies are in pain. You've been stabbed, slashed, and you find yourselves exhausted. But Lovelace is on the ground next to Crichton, and they aren't getting up. Adana, what do you do?
I think they just kind of. Adana just stares in panic and turns to Cielo. Can you do something? Can you help them? And they'll rush to Lovelace's side.
Yeah. I'm going to use Magichant. I'm going.
I said, okay, I'm following along.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend 20 MP to sing at a medium volume. So every ally I can hear you, and right now I'm considering Crichton an ally. I'm going to sing a song in the key of thunder, with a calm tone. So everyone is going to get what is that? Ba-bum. Okay, so everybody's gonna get 30 HP back.
Okay. What does it look like as you start singing this healing magical song?
I do feel like actually in this moment, Cielo does legitimately feel a little like silly. I think for once her, I mean to put it in an easy term, like Jimena comes back out and is like, what are you fucking doing? Like, call 911. Why are you singing a song right now? And so she does start to actually feel like embarrassed, horrified, hesitant that like in the middle of all this carnage, she starts to sing. It just feels like, I don't want to say cringe because like it's far more serious than that, but it doesn't feel appropriate. So at
Yeah.
first her voice is kind of shaky, her hands are shaky, but she like swallows down those nerves and starts to sing again. And I do think that, let's see, it was Key of Thunder, right?
Yeah.
Are the storm clouds still out?
With each step that Zolm takes away, it appears as if the storm is stopping and spreading apart.
Okay. Well, any clouds that are still remaining, I think start to rumble with thunder. There's no lightning crackling through them. There is no visual effect in that way, but the thunder does start to rumble, adding a percussion, adding a sort of instrumentation to the song that Cielo is singing. And that's essentially what you see.
Incredible. I think as Cielo is kneeling down next to them, preparing the song, singing the thunder rumbling in the skies, Adana, you are next to Lovelace, watching as his breaths are incredibly shallow, but they're still present. He seems incredibly weak and injured and obviously unconscious, but Cielo is taking a little bit of time for the song to take effect. Sinclair and Viscera, what are you both doing as all of this is happening?
I essentially will stride up towards Lovelace, or as close as I can get, and I will raise my hands, carrying some kind of spell if need be, but I hesitate and I look around. I look as if I am ready to spring into action.
I think Sinclair is by Lovelace's side, currently kneeling down next to him, just trying to make sure he's okay, checking over Lovelace for any other wounds. I think with Cielo's healing song, seeing that Lovelace is breathing shallowly at least, there's that wave of relief that comes over him. I think he just looks up to everyone else and in more shock than anything else, and then looks down to Crichton, trying to see if she's alive.
I think you notice that Crichton is in a very similar state as Lovelace. Her body is twitching from the electricity in her body involuntarily every few moments, but you do see some shallow breaths taking place. But, oh yeah, Adana, what's up?
I think Adana has several pouches strapped to their belt at their side, and they're going to quickly just ruffle through each of them. And if I can, I will actually use 3 inventory points to pull out a health potion. And I reach in and pull out a health potion to And I just assume it's going to help. It's a potion in my bag and everything I pulled out of these satchels have been useful and helpful in some way, shape, or form. And I pop the stopper and I'll gently lift Kryden's head up, and I'll start to pour a health potion down her mouth.
Okay. How much does
And
a
just go,
health potion heal for?
Let me see. It's somewhere
Potentially on
here.
the
There it
cheat
goes.
sheet. 50 hit points.
50 hit points, yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a
That's a
lot.
lot. That's super helpful. And this is a great opportunity. In Fabula Ultima, rather than tracking your inventory and each like individual item that you're carrying, instead you have inventory points. Most people have 6. Whenever you're out and about on adventures or wherever, you can spend inventory points to say, oh, I have a potion, or I have a tent, or like a whole list of things. And then when you're back in town, you can spend money to like raise your inventory points back. But as Adana, you are sitting there pouring this potion down Kryden's throats. I think our scene is going to shift. And we see Loveless. Loveless.
Huh?
The last thing you felt was searing pain as your vision was filled with light. But now, you find yourself in a familiar darkness. Water laps softly at your feet as you seem to be in the same space you were in 5 years ago when the goddess first gave you this mission.
3 times.
But instead of Thermera or any of your other companions, standing across from you, you see a woman. Oliver? She calls out, her voice familiar, but one you haven't heard in a long while. You look at her. Her face looks so much like your mom's now, but you know it's not her. The lines and wear of age may have disguised your sister Min for a brief moment, but your soul recognizes hers.
I was gonna say something quippy like Cielo has bad aim, but Min? Mom?
It's me. It's Min. It's been so long.
How fucking old are you?
I died. I was almost 50. It's been so hard without you, Ollie. I loved you so much. But I've been mad at you for so long. Why'd you have to leave that day? Why'd you leave us?
Before we go down that road again, you're 50? What happened to Mom? What happened to the store? What did you finish school?
No, of course I couldn't finish school. You died. Mom couldn't work. I had to come home. I had to take care of everyone. We sold the boat. We sold the market. I didn't know how to do any of that, and I had to find work somewhere else, doing something else, and I could barely make ends meet. I could barely do anything.
No. No,
Don't know me.
No, I don't know if this is like a a game. I look up like into the darkness above me. I don't.
You abandoned us.
I didn't abandon shit.
You left.
You mom, Annette.
You knew there
Claire,
would be a
you're
storm,
nope.
and you
That's
left anyway.
fuck you.
And with that, suddenly, quickly, breath filling into your lungs again as healing takes place over your body. You wake up.
Oh God.
Your body burns, but it's healing. You're able to move, and you see your friends around you.
Cielo, you have really bad aim.
What?
The lightning. I know
That
I was
was
standing
me.
really.
That
Oh,
was not me.
oh.
You know what? Next time, sing your own damn song. And I get up and I like brush my my dress off and walk away.
I don't. Okay.
Unbelievable. Man's a fucking critic.
Adana, you have poured this potion down Kryden's throat, and she suddenly comes to, quickly trying to stand, using her sword to like prop herself up.
No, just stay, rest. Just you were struck by lightning. Just stay still for a moment, please.
You see her turn, watching as Zoln continues to walk away. What?
Who was that? Who is that?
It's him. The champion. She tries to stand again, but quickly like falls to her knees.
But just you need to rest. You need to rest. I want to turn to Nadia. Do you have? Do you know how to treat a lightning strike? I don't know.
You look towards Nadia. They were still like focused in on Zoln, but you speaking to them now kind of like snaps them out of it. Shit. They start kind of like putting their pack down, looking inside. They have bandages and things, but you know, bandages aren't gonna do a whole lot for a lightning strike.
Yeah.
They look up to you, unsure, but then you see Hala walking towards you all.
As soon as it becomes clear that Zone is not going to return, I will begin to lower, dismiss the magic.
You're breaking up, Stella. What did you say?
As soon as I realize that the champion's not coming back, I will lower my hands and dismiss the magic.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, Hala looks down at those of you still on the ground, then looks towards Kryden. You need to give it up, dear. You need to stop. Kryden just hangs her head. I'm just so fucking angry. What am I supposed to do with that? That's part of grief. You'll get past it. I think we may be able to help. Come back to town. Come get some rest. We'll settle the details of things a little later. I think Adana, you being right next to Kryden, kind of propping her up and helping her, you feel just like the weight drop from her shoulders as she seems to just give up.
Okay. Just You think about it more later, but you just need to rest, okay?
She nods. You see Annie still writing in her book, watching from afar.
I... I'm going to turn... I'm going to turn to Harley and just say, why did they attack us like that?
Just be thankful no one's dead. It's the best I could do. Come on, let's... Here. And Halle steps forward towards Kryden and begins helping her up. Let's head back. The rain stops. The clouds begin to clear. And we pick up a little later. You all have rested, treated your wounds. And you begin to hear that they're going to prepare a funeral. You heard Halle talking to Kryden in one of the rooms, saying that she assumes Kryden never really got the chance to say goodbye or to pay respects to her father or her brother. Anger's not easy to get past, but this could help. You see Talvine and her husband Zenda, which probably only Cielo and Viscera have actually seen at this point because they delivered food. But in the town square, they're building a small fire. And then you see Halle begin to push out a barrel of ale. Nadia sits with you all. So, how do you remember the dead where you're from?
I mean, Cielo, me, Liv, the player, was really about to start explaining like real funerals, and then I realized probably shouldn't. So I do think Cielo kind of has that moment of like, fuck it, yeah. Well, in my culture, there's a couple of different ways. Primarily, we, the day we bury them or honor them. It's a big event. Everybody wears black. Everybody shows up. Sometimes those closest say some words, but then, well, at least for like my dad, once a year we also celebrate them. We go where they rest and we make delicious foods and we spend time with them, I guess is the best way to describe it. So there's the initial moment, and then once a year, that's what everybody does.
That sounds really nice.
It is weird to be in a graveyard so late at night, though. That's always something that was always a little odd, but it's really pretty. So,
Why is it weird?
just because like I don't really like scary things. But when everybody's around and everything's decorated and there's altars built, it's not too bad.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you've done anything like we do here, but we just build a fire, generally. We sit around, tell stories of those who've passed on or those we've simply lost. And we tell stories, we drink, and after you tell a story, you throw some alcohol in the fire in remembrance. I imagine this will be pretty focused on Griggy and Dre, but this isn't just for them. You all have come from afar. If there's anyone you want to remember or say goodbye to, you should.
During this conversation, I am almost staring at Nadia. A question is just glimmering in my eyes, but you can tell that I'm trying to bite my tongue, trying to hold it back.
I think Nadia notices this and looks towards you as if expecting.
What is your relationship with Griggy?
Griggy was I don't know, he was just every member of the village is almost like a parent to me, or a grandparent, I imagine. And Griggy was like that. He was someone that I helped take care of and cared about. And he cared about me.
Well, then, I'm sorry.
What did you say? Sorry.
I am sorry for your loss.
I think I've moved on since Griggy's death. It's been a number of months. But it's nice to just sit and remember him at times.
In my culture, we do something similar to what Cielo mentioned, but we don't go to graveyards. We have lots of land that belong to our families. So it's in the open air, and the graves are open fields. So we sit there and we enjoy food, we enjoy each other, and we also tell stories.
Hopefully one day, not hopefully, but maybe next time, I'll try having some food for everybody as well. Just to honor you and where you come from as well.
You are a very generous person, Nadia.
I'm just trying to be helpful, I think. I'm gonna go see if they need help. If you need anything, just shout.
As Nadia is about to turn away, I will try to catch their elbow to draw their attention to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I look them in the eyes. Don't forget, You can only give so much of yourself before you begin to lose yourself. I understand that you have a significant role here with these people, but you are young. And you are so full of life yourself. Don't lose that.
Give me a... Let's see. Give me an inspect check as you say that.
Okay. A 9.
The DC is a 10.
Can I
Do you
use
have, like,
my
a-
soul surge level 1?
Sure. Yeah, you can use a level 1 soul surge, absolutely.
There's a graveness in my expression, a depth in my eyes. My eyes almost look a little hollow as I'm saying this, almost a weight to the words of something self-actualized, and the gravity comes in through my voice.
As you watch Nadia, specifically as you say, you are young, you are so full of life. For some reason, a heaviness kind of enters their posture. But they smile at you. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
I let go.
And I'll head outside. Now, you all have the opportunity to speak to one another, to plan, ask questions, talk. Or we can move to the funeral. The choice is yours.
Viscera would absolutely start a private conversation with just the 5 of us. So, what happened out there? What do we think we want to do about this? Who was that person that we saw?
We also, that was Griggy. At first, we saw an apparition of Griggy for Zone. And that's what I can guess. Everyone's certain Griggy's dead unless that's not true.
I'm not sure if it was caused by Zoln or something else. But, I mean, that curse is still an issue out there. And I don't think that Kryden's gonna be going after Zoln anytime soon.
What? Loveless, you said immortality isn't really a thing here, right?
Not really.
What if there's a connection between those two things? Like, maybe every single time the champion kills somebody, they take over their body, and that's how they've achieved immortality?
I mean, it doesn't look like anyone recognized Zone as Griggy. We just saw, at least I just saw, again, I can only imagine it's an apparition. Above game, we saw like an image of Griggy call out Kryden
Yeah,
before
so
Zone. Before Zone appeared.
you heard somebody call out Kryden, turned and saw Nadia say Griggy.
Yeah.
And then the lightning happened, and then standing where Griggy was
Where
Zoln
Griggy was,
after the
okay.
lightning flash. Yeah.
And Zoln is the
The champion of the mask.
The mask champion.
The
that was
immortal.
wearing the mask, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
masks, different forms, different appearances, different identities. Sorry, I took all of my red string down before we started the stream, but I've been thinking about this.
I mean, you might be onto something.
Do we think that
Boring
Zoln
bodies.
could be Griggy?
Or wearing Griggy.
Maybe.
I don't know. Sinclair, who did you speak to that found out that they were immortal? They whispered this time. Yeah, immortal.
Nadia told me. They said that Hale told them. And I still didn't get an answer with Hale if her and Zoln were a thing. It
What
seemed
do you mean?
like if they were together in any
Wait, with Zoln?
capacity. Yes.
Really quick,
Oh.
Emma, this is just my own mind. Was Zoln like freakishly large or just like a normal human being body proportions?
You're muted,
I'm
Emma.
muted, beloved.
Okay. So Zoln, average sized human-ish person, humanoid, I
Oh,
guess you
wow.
could say, but they're wearing a very plain mask, like wooden mask that's painted gold, and then has a cloak that's basically covering the entirety of their body. So you
Hey,
couldn't see
everybody.
details of what they look like.
Hey, everybody, sound off in chat if you also thought this person was like 7, not even 7, like 8, 9, 10 feet
I did
tall.
too.
Sound off in
I
chat.
thought they were huge.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
same. We're like, oh.
They're
We were
just
all
larger than
looking
life.
up. Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
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 Well, anyway. Cielo seems less interested.
Wow. You might be onto something.
I mean,
A
Holly did.
relationship.
Yeah, Holly did said that it was the best that she could do. Maybe
Yeah,
it's like
I
a
did.
deal.
Curious what she meant by that. Loveless, how are you feeling?
I need like 5 more naps.
But
Yeah. I'm just honestly at a crossroads right now. I mean, it's been maybe 72 hours. I just feel like we're being pushed in this direction, and I think that's a good idea. I mean, the more mysteries come from Edminster, and we have to head northeast anyways. I just feel like we might be losing time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to say we're wasting time. These people's lives matter, but at the same time, Kryden's own thirst for vengeance is what unfortunately put them in their position. But if something is wreaking havoc in the woods, then is it on us to do this? And if it is,
I think that the biggest threat has more or less been taken care of. Kryden's recklessness, which would put the village in danger, was what we were most concerned about, yes? I think that Kryden is rethinking, or at least the worst case scenario, will delay their vengeance for now. We are not the caretakers of this place. We cannot stay here forever.
True.
fair. And it doesn't seem like there'll be any immediate backlash to this village. They've shown us kindness, and we in turn have stopped them from having anything at least supposedly happen to them. So I'll make preparations. I'll get Francisco, and maybe we can leave tomorrow.
Are we not gonna do anything about the curse?
What can we do? Do we go into Musk territory to deal with it?
I don't know, but there's gotta be something. I mean, if it took Ale and Zoln and Griggy to defeat it last time. Unless Kryden stays. I don't know.
Maybe these are things that we should ask at the funeral after the rites are done.
It's a good idea.
They
That's
have
fair.
not been very helpful with information up until this point. If they want us to do something about the curse, they have to tell us. We can't necessarily go hunting without a direction, without any information. If it took 3 of them and 2 of them died, then... and they don't tell us what happened, we might as well be walking into a trap.
No, that's true. I'm just hoping they'll be a bit more forthcoming now.
Okay. I think with that, you all get some rest.
Can I find like a used tablecloth or like a white tablecloth somewhere, GM?
Sure, I think you find like stuffed away like some old tablecloths that are maybe saved for like special occasions or something. You're not entirely sure, but you do find some in like a little closet.
Okay, I'll take a sheet, and then I'll cut one up into a headband before we head out.
Okay. With that, you all prepare for this funeral. The clouds have parted. It is sunny once again. You eventually start hearing or smelling smoke. Heading outside, out in the courtyard of the village, you find a small fire is burning. Cask of ale and various tankards are set out nearby. Zenda and Talvane are sitting down, some tankards already full of ale that they're sipping on. You see Falls come out, various papers that seem they've been ripped from a book resting in his hands. Little cloth kind of plucked into his ears as well. Nadia, Hala, and then eventually Kryden and Innie all come out, grab some ale, take a seat, and begin the funeral. And we're going to take a quick break there. But not before we have a little scene.
These are my favorite. I love these so much.
The light is dim in the throne room this morning. It's early enough that the sun hasn't quite risen enough to shine light into the long corridor from the openings in the ceiling, but late enough that the caretakers have extinguished all the candles. Dull blue light guides Hope to the stairs leading up to the throne, where Resin stands. To the side, the demon knight Elia stands in their full armor and regalia. When Hope received the summons from Resin, she had assumed this would be another casual meeting between the two. But Elia's demeanor tells her otherwise, making Hope's simple red dress feel insufficient. Above the two stands Resin next to the empty throne. Tetsun had been occupied with a number of tasks in the past few months, and sightings of him have been rare. As always, Resin wore the simple white robe of the cloth with no stitching, which fits his nature perfectly. The golden chains of the advisor rests on his head, signaling that this meeting is more official than Hope had assumed. Hope bows in respect towards the throne, as is expected. Resin, your summons didn't say this would be dealing with official business. I'm sorry that I've come unprepared. Resin smiles. Oh no, Hope, please don't trouble yourself. You're among friends here. Come however you wish. Hope stands. Thank you. Elia, good to see you again. Elia could have smiled, nodded, or made any sort of gesture toward Hope in response, and Hope would have never known due to the heavy helmet hiding her face. I appreciate you coming so early in the morning. The day is quite full, but our business is important. Yes, you mentioned needing help with a task of some sort. What can I do for you? Resin's smile hasn't left his face, making him more unnerving. Well, to put it plain, it's about the dream you had the other night. That's right. Hope had told Resin that she had a dream of some people waking up from some strange obelisks. I'm afraid with the state of the Empire and the acts of the rebels, many of my trusted hands are busy. So I asked the Demon King if he would allow me to send you on an expedition to find these people you dreamed of. Hope is surprised. Tetsun liked to keep her close, keep her safe. Tetsun signed off on this? Yes, the Demon King. He put his own seal on the assignment. He procures a small scroll from his sleeves and steps down, handing it to her. His seal is indeed on the scroll. You need not worry, however. Your safety is, of course, still our highest priority. Our friend here, Elia, will be joining you, as well as a small group of trusted soldiers. The tension in Hope's shoulders lessens slightly. She hasn't left the capital since she first came to this world 3 years ago. And although exploring a fantasy world is exciting in theory, in practice, it's terrifying. She didn't want to die. Not again. You'll have time to prepare. You aren't scheduled to leave for another week. The Demon King wanted to make sure you were still in town for his surprise. He smiles again, pulling another scroll from his sleeve. This didn't have the Demon King's seal, but as Hope unfurled it, she could immediately recognize his influence. It was a ticket. Special admission for one. To a brand new play commissioned by the Demon King himself. The Last Relic. And that's where we're gonna take our break. So, thanks so much, everybody.
Okay, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Please grab a drink, do a stretch, and we'll be right back.
Our lives after. How's it going, everyone? My name is Emma Panada, and I'm here to make an awesome Tem Nadia mini using Hero Forge. I want to say a huge thank you to Hero Forge for sponsoring our Fabula Ultima limited series, Our Lives After. If you've been watching our campaign, you've already been introduced to Nadia. But for those of you who haven't joined us yet, they're a companion NPC that's joined the group on their quest in the areas around the dying village of Refnal. Nadia is the only non-elder of the village, and as such has adopted the role of the Hunter of Refnal, leaving behind other dreams they shared with a childhood friend that's left for the capital city of Odnil. Our lives after. You all sit down, have little tankards of ale in hand, sitting around this fire. Some of you on the floor, some perhaps on a few chairs that have been brought out. But everyone sits in silence. Smoke from the fire burns up into the sky. Kryden sits a bit awkwardly, leaning forward in her chair and just staring at the ground. Paulette speaks up after a few quiet moments. Thank you all for coming. I know this is happening out of nowhere. I know many of us have already said our goodbyes, but there are more goodbyes to say. So, tell your stories, share your feelings, and throw some ale. Suppose I can start with a story. She kind of looks down into her tankard. This happened a little before Dre and Kryden were taken out of the village by Marta. They're still very young. I think Dre was maybe 5 or 6. Kryden, you tended to follow him around like his little shadow around town. I don't think you two knew it or understood it at the time, but frustrations were pretty high already between your parents, and sometimes when the tension was especially high, Griggy would come and just stay at the inn. Get away from it all for a little bit. Let there be peace in the house so you all could rest and it wasn't too stressful. On one of those days where Griggy had stayed the night, Dre came in and you were following behind. You all asked where your father was and pointed upstairs, let you know which room. A few moments later, I heard you sneaking upstairs, or trying to sneak. You were all still very loud. I think Griggy woke up long before you even approached his room. But still, I heard you try to sneak into his room, to wake him up and scare him. Even though he was definitely awake already, he still played along. I suddenly heard a lot of screaming and laughing as he roared awake, chasing you down the stairs. You all bright with smiles. I never saw him be so happy as when he was with you both. And you then watch Halle kind of take her tankard and just like make a motion so that the ale flies out onto the fire, and the fire kind of builds up from the liquid and the alcohol. And then she goes over and fills up her tankard once more. You see Kryden sitting there, nodding. How about a story from when my dad fought with you? When you all killed the curse Never really shared any of those with me. Perhaps you could tell me a little bit about what my dad was like back then. Hala takes a sip, shaking her head. I don't think, at the end of it all, your dad would want to be remembered as some sort of warrior or hero. I think the proudest thing he did in his life was have you both. And at the end, I think he would hope that he's remembered as trying to be a good father despite what happened between him and your mother. I know one of the nights Griggy came and stayed at the inn, Marta took you both and left town. And Griggy hadn't known. He didn't discover until the morning, and he was distraught. He had a lot of complicated feelings towards your mother, rightfully so. But he loved her. He understood why she wanted to take you away, take you someplace more populated, someplace you perhaps could have a better chance at a future. But at the time, Griggy really believed and hoped that one day this village would turn around. For a number of years, he was a fairly sad man, except on the days where he went up with Hedron to sell wares. He got to see you both briefly once a year. But then one day, number of years ago, I still remember it clearly. He came into the inn, just a huge smile on his face. And it was a letter from Trey. It's the letter saying that Griggy had become a grandfather. He was so happy. He swore to me that day that he wouldn't be in Refnell anymore. He'd go into the big city more and more often. He wanted to be a part of that kid's life. He did. He started traveling more, seeing your brother and his family more, and you as well. You see Crichton has a bit of a guilty expression as Hala says that. These last few years, he was a truly happy man. I think that's the only story about Griggy I want to tell. She takes another drink, throws it onto the fire. Fire builds up. She grabs some more. As you all sit there, a few moments in silence, Crichton looks up for the first time, taking a large drink of ale. I never particularly knew my father very well. I hardly remember this place. I was so young when we left. Dad just became a man that I saw maybe once every couple of years for a day. He was all but a stranger to me. Then, Dre and I moved to Audenil. Dre becoming a incredibly successful apprentice and then blacksmith, and I started venturing out, slaying monsters, killing curses, helping people as well as I could. A number of years later, Dre had his family. He started telling me that Dad was coming around a little bit more. He's coming to town, visiting. He would love to see me. I was always so busy. The last time Griggy came, though, they told me they were having a special dinner. They really wanted me to come, so did what I could, pushed things around. I made it. It was awkward for me. I recognized the man was my father. I recognized I should have a special relationship with him, but he still felt like a stranger. But I saw Dre. I saw his wife, saw his daughter, smiling, joking, laughing with Griggy. I think that night I realized I wanted more. I had to step outside at one point, and Griggy followed me. He told me how proud of me he was. He started spitting off tale after tale of adventure I had been a part of. Things that were really surprising that I have no idea how he found out about. He said whenever he would go to Modeste or he could make it to Audenil, he would start asking around to ask people if they knew who I was, if they had heard anything, and more he started collecting these stories, and with every story he said he grew more and more proud of the people I helped and the person I'd become. And I thought I would have more time. She takes a drink, throws it onto the fire, stands up to get another.
If the moment feels appropriate for someone else to step up, Viscera will join the fireside. This entire time, she's had a finger playing along the rim of her cup, just idle, a nervous gesture, quiet and reserved. She takes the tankard in both hands and says, her eyes leveling on the fire, I didn't know Griggy, but I can tell that they were someone that left a lasting impression on the people in their lives. I am not prepared to tell this story, not yet, but here's to the family that tries. Because sometimes just trying is enough. She'll cast the ale onto the fire, step back.
See people nodding. Then Nadia speaks up. I never knew you or Dre when you lived here before. I wasn't born. I heard stories about you both, but I'd never seen you. So after Griggy died, we received a letter saying that Dre would be coming to settle his affairs, visiting, and people were sad, but also excited to see Dre again after all these years. People were telling stories again about the two kids who left, what they might be like now, what Griggy has told them over the past few years. I didn't know him. I didn't think he would know me. So I just thought I would stay out of the way while he was here. Everyone else would visit with him and talk with him. They'd have a good time, and then eventually he would leave again. But when he got to town, he went and visited Halle. And then the next person he tracked down was me. I was really surprised. He said that he had been really looking forward to meeting me because Griggy used to talk to me or talk about me when he would go and visit. He said that Griggy said that I was practically his third child. He said that Griggy always talked about how proud he was that I stayed to help the village after Tristana died and started hunting to take care of everyone. He told Dre that he gave me his old bow because he wanted me to be as protected as possible every time I went out. Because he didn't know what he'd do if I ever didn't come back. And then Dre pat my head, called me his little sibling before he went off to talk to everybody else. And it made me really happy. And they take a drink, throw it on the fire. You see Kryden say softly to themselves, Dre used to do that to me too.
I think with the kind of silence hanging in the air, Sinclair will step forward. I obviously didn't know Griggy, but there are people in my life who I never got to say a full goodbye to either. My siblings. And I helped raise them as best as I could. And I wanted to make sure that they got all the love and care that our parents gave us, or I should say gave me, because our parents didn't have much time for them. And I tried to give them everything I could, even if we might not have always gotten along, or I might not have always understood them. The one thing that I always hope that they understand is that I love them. And I just hope now, with me being gone from, their lives, I just hope our parents are able to show them that love that they might be missing. Here's to hopefully saying goodbyes when we can. Because we never know when the next day we're not going to see them again. And Sinclair will take his drink, pouring it into the fire, and we'll go and step to get another one before kind of taking a position more at the back of the crowd.
If an appropriate amount of time has passed, Lovelace will step forward from the crowd. He'll look over to Crichton, and as a quick quip, we'll just say, "We share a lot in common. Get struck by lightning the same day, and we also didn't get to say goodbye to our fathers. I was maybe 13 when my father passed. And I never really saw him much. Didn't know much about him, didn't know the trials that he went to end up in where we lived. I think the one thing I remembered most about him when I was a kid was that he used to call me his little fearless sailor, which I hated. Hated it. I hated that fucking boat. When my first sister was born, he called her the brightest star in the sky, and when my second sister was born, the current of the ocean, and when my mom got pregnant with my youngest sister, the voice across the horizon. And I was just a shitty sailor on a shitty boat who had to work day in and day out. And maybe we'll never get to know what those people in our lives who left meant, or what they could have said, or what they would have said. But sometimes you can only make means of what you do know. And I think honoring what's left is the most important thing. And so maybe I don't have the vastness of the sky or the ocean or the horizon. Maybe we'll never know what happened to them or why. But I know that being a fearless sailor, I can guide them as best as they could, and I'll continue to do that in his honor. And I'll continue to do that until the day I die. 100%. I'll step forward and I'll toss my drink. And if you don't mind, I'll pull out some salt. And we pour salt so that the souls of the dead know that we watch over them. I will pull out the white cloth. We cut cloth to let them know that their time in this mortal world has passed. And then I'll stick my gauntlet into the flames and pull out an ember. And then I'll say, and we set a light so that all can find safe passage from this shore to the next. And I'll toss into the sky, and I'll unload a fire shot from my gauntlet, so it sparkles into the sky like a Elmo's crossfire, well, an Elmo's fire or firework of sort. And I'll turn around, and I'll walk over to a stump near my friends and newfound family once again. I'll sit down, and you hear Lovelace begin to sing. And hopefully it doesn't get copyright struck, but I'll just sing a few lines. of all the money e'er I had, I spent it in good company. And then I don't know the rest of the fucking Parting Glass song, so we'll move on from there.
I love that.
I think as you take a seat, Loveless, and as this firework almost illuminates the parts of the shadows that the fire couldn't quite, I think you'd notice, or maybe you don't, but you notice that Adana isn't there anymore.
As you sing, and as your song fades, Crichton speaks again. You know, after we were struck by that lightning, I think I saw my brother. I was in this dark space and he was there. And he called me an idiot. He made me promise to give this up. He made me promise to stop putting myself in harm's way. He practically begged me to look after his wife and his daughter. So I will. She takes a drink, pours it into the fire, and since what's more. Does anybody else at the fire want to say anything? Okay.
No.
So people keep sharing little stories. Some funny, some bittersweet. But these things keep going on as our camera pulls away and we find Adana and Viscera. Where do you two think you are?
As soon as I notice that Adana is missing, I try to go. Where do I find them?
They've walked away from the funeral. Soon after Loveless started telling their story, they got up and left. And you'd find them, I think, on the edge of town, sat on a stump or on a fence somewhere, as out of the way as they can be. And in their hand, almost as if they're focusing on this, is a bracelet. It's a bracelet they've been wearing this entire time. And they have in their hands, almost thumbing the metallic links. And their head is bowed down. And I think in the darkness, maybe only really illuminated by the night sky, you can just make out their shoulders shaking, as if crying.
I come to a stop some distance away once I realize that I'm crying. I wait maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes before I begin to slowly make my way up. I try to announce myself by pushing rubble on the street, the road. Sound of my sheathed blade clicking against the side of the building.
Donna
I'm
very quickly
looking up.
looks up and wipes their eyes. Hey.
I'm not looking at you as I approach. I'm looking up at the sky. Hey. It's weird, isn't it? No.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it'll take a bit for me to get used to it.
It's funny how something that is just part of your everyday stop thinking about it. And it's not there anymore. Just sit right.
To get closer to your mic.
Damn, I said some cool shit. Okay. It's funny, isn't it? You see something every day and you stop thinking about it. And when it's gone and you realize that it's gone, it just doesn't sit right with you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been much of a stars person. I'll be honest, most of the time at night I was working or asleep, so I never cared too much about it. Never thought I did anyway. But yeah, looking at it now, without the moon, it's
I suppose that's just how life works, isn't it? We just have to move on and take things as they come. We don't have control over everything. Can't choose the moon to be there.
Sorry. I'm sorry if I worried you. I'll be back with everyone in a bit.
Can I sit with you?
She just nods.
Slowly, carefully, I sit down next to you. What's on your mind?
She seems to almost fidget with this bracelet in her hand more now. Her leg kind of shaking, tapping their foot, like they're trying to harness this nervous or scared or anxious energy they're feeling right now. It's you don't need to worry. I'm fine. I just needed some air.
I know I don't need to worry, and I am not worried. I just want to know how you are feeling.
I scared. And I feel alone and lost, and I just want to go home, but I can't. If pillows all taken away from me, and I'd lost so much back at home, and now I lost it all over again and ended up here. I feel like I'm the only one. She just stops talking and continues fidgeting with the bracelet.
My sister died. I couldn't say it at the fire, but I can say it to you. You knew her. You knew how so full of life she was. I was very scared after I lost her. She's the only one who knew me, who truly understood me. Everything back at that studio, it was a perfect picture. It was an image. It was the expectations of what people wanted from me, what they created me to be. I was playing a role, and she knew who I was outside of that. She's gone. She's been gone for a long time. I was scared too, Madonna. I couldn't go back to the way things were without her. But here I am now, in front of you, in this place that neither of us understand. We're here. We might not want to be, but at least we're not alone in that sense.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Me too. And I think sit there in silence for a little while.
Yeah.
Back at the funeral, think things have winded down. Everyone begins putting things away. Crichton, however, is still sitting. Paul stands. Some red marks from the wads in his ears appearing, but he's been writing this entire time. He walks over to Crichton and you can hear them say, "It's dwarf custom to write down the stories of our dead. And then our priests turn their stories into song. I'm not much of a songwriter, but I thought you should have the stories that people have told today, so you can keep them close." And he hands over the pieces of paper that he ripped out of his book, gives them to Crichton. She nods, placing her hand on his shoulder. And then he walks away. As people begin to disperse, I think Crichton approaches you, Cielo. You can tell she's been going through it. There's some red marks on her face. But she pulls a pouch from her side and places it in your hand. There was no curse,
Okay.
but I'm alive because of you. I need to get back home, but I also need to rest.
Yes, you do.
I don't think I'll be able to go and take care of this curse because of the promise I made my dead brother. I'd hate to fail at it before I even get back to his family. But you all are capable. Your Laymark can find the curse for you, and I don't much doubt that you'd be able to handle it.
Yeah.
She places her hand on your shoulder, nods.
Get back safely, I guess.
Get safely wherever you're heading as well.
Yeah. And I like look at the rest of the group. Yeah, wherever we're heading.
If you happen to go to Audenil, the Adventurers Union is hosting a placement exam for the adventurers in Milfast in about 3 weeks now. If that's something you're all interested in, be sure to get there
Maybe.
by then.
Yeah, I'll tell everybody about that.
If you need any help, just find me.
Thank you.
And then she walks off towards the end.
I open up the bag and see what's inside.
It's 3,000 Zenit.
Let's go! Just gonna add that to my little inventory.
Yeah. You're the only one who gets it. It's not for the group.
I am declaring myself group treasurer.
Okay. That sounds like a good plan. So, as the funeral winds down, we'll say that eventually Adana and Viscera return as everybody has left.
I would probably try to drag Adana back, saying, "Look, I know you're hungry. I'm starving. Let's go find some."
Hey, okay. Just very quietly, we'll let Viscera pull him along.
As you all meet, and as you all get some food, what now? Where will you go from here?
So what's the plan for tomorrow?
Well, I actually learned something interesting from Kryden. There's this exam happening at the Adventurers Guild. Didn't you mention we technically need, like, an adventuring license, more or less?
I mean, it'll help with the disguise, the gambit that we're going for.
Why
So,
does it
I don't
have to
think-
be a disguise? Could just
We could
do
maybe
it.
go and get it legitimized.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Is that if
Yeah.
we get legitimized, it makes it easier, so that we don't actually have to lie.
Mm-hmm. So, really quick, I'm assuming this exam is like the exam you have to take to get your license. Is that correct, or?
So you specifically heard Kryden say it's a placement exam.
Oh,
Classic.
You don't know what that means.
Okay.
But if you were to relay that knowledge, Lovelace, I think you would know that the Adventurers Union, there are different unions on each continent, or not each continent. There are 3 around the world presently. One of them happens to be in Milfast. But this placement exam tests you on your aptitude for adventuring and for combat, as well as a variety of other things. And based on how you do, you get a rank. And from there, you can go to any adventurers union around the world, or you can go to various like outposts and pick up quests that are your rank or lower. And then if there's a new placement exam, and you've gained a lot of experience, you've grown a lot, you can take it again to kind of rank up.
We should study.
What do you study
With
for a
what
thing like
books?
that?
I mean, we could try
Training.
to study on that curse.
That is a good.
What was the
okay?
time?
3
What was the
weeks.
time frame for that? 3 weeks?
So, what are you trying to suggest, Sinclair? That we find the curse, or we go to Morphast?
I think that maybe we should help deal with the curse, potentially. I mean, it seems like Crichton maybe isn't going to assist.
I mean, we have to get through Midminster Forest anyways.
I might as well on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What is the criteria for what do they rank on anyway, Lovelace?
Oh.
Maybe we can get like a checklist.
I mean, I don't know too much of the details in all honesty. I've heard some speak about, just like I mentioned before, general aptitude, but I don't know the actual details. I'm not even sure if they keep the test from year to year. It might change.
Okay.
I do agree that I think if we go through Midminster towards Belfast, then at least give all of you a bit more time to get more acclimated. It's only been a few days, and if we're looking to take on this exam in 3 weeks, then I think we'll need to be in tip-top shape as Viscera recommended.
Okay. Well, how far is Morphast? Is it 3 weeks away? Less than that?
A quick correction. Milfast is the government that you're in. The capital is Audenell.
Odenel, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. How
Audenel is
far
pretty
is
far
Audenell?
east, right?
It is. Let's take you to the world map.
Exactly 3
Yeah.
weeks.
Please.
exactly
Pretty
3 weeks
far.
away?
So you are. Oh, I think I'm on the GM screen still. So you're down here.
Yeah.
So you'll need to go through Midminster Forest, up these plains. There's kind of like a crossing major trade town here, and then the capital is up here.
On the other side.
I think Lovelace said it took him about 2 weeks of travel.
I was like going. A single person with an Adra, like Gandalf on Shadowfax going across the plains.
I think you all could definitely get there in 2 weeks. So you have a week of spare time.
If we got a cart or something, would that be any faster?
A little bit. Might save you a day or two.
Could be worthwhile. We have all this money.
I feel like we could stop by some towns along the way. Once we get through Midminster Forest, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd like to stock up a bit more before we head out. I used one of my potions. So if I can stock up on that, that'd be nice.
Okay. Well, I think that it's worthwhile.
I do think if we're planning on looking for the curse, we might want to start moving tomorrow. I imagine we can get to Morfast in 2 weeks, but that's without the hope or desire to find the curse, right? As I look too loveless when I say this.
Yeah, I think sooner the better. Especially if you want to spend a few days in a couple of towns along the way to pick up gear, resupply, restock. I mean, we'll be on the road,
Yeah.
the road for a bit, so.
One of us should try to speak to Hala about the curse.
I can speak to her.
Good. I don't want to speak to her.
Good, Donna, you're better at speaking with people anyway.
I'm just
thank you.
nodding as you say that.
Thank you. Yeah, I can. Should I speak to her now?
If you speak to them now, then we can leave in the morning.
I
Yeah.
think that'd be the best.
Okay. Okay. And I will look for Hala.
Yeah, I
As
think
the
you can
others
find
continue.
Hala pretty easily. Heading off, we'll probably say she's in the back of the inn, kind of tending to various things. She sees you approach and sets some things down from her hand and looks at you. Well, what can I do for you?
Yeah. Could you tell me more about the curse?
Why do you want to know? And Adana, give me a persuade check.
Okay.
It's gonna be
Persuade.
pretty difficult.
Don't
I
forget
imagine
you
so.
have a Soul Surge level 2 and a Soul Surge level 1.
I rolled a 15.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so she asks, why do you want to know? And what do you say?
We, my friends and I, we plan on leaving, hopefully early tomorrow morning, and we're going to be going through the woods. And I imagined we'd want to know. It'd be helpful to know what we might come across, and if we have to, well, worst case scenario, if we have to fight it, any information could be useful.
Okay, Adana. If I'm going to tell you anything, you need to answer a question for me.
Yeah. What do you need to? I don't know how useful I can be, but I'll answer any
Those
question I can.
cards. Where did you get them?
I'll be honest. I don't know. They're just on me. One day.
I'm going to need you to describe as best as possible what you mean.
I don't. I'll be honest. I don't know. They were just on me. I woke up, and they were in this satchel, and they will touch the satchel at their side, the pouch at their side attached to their belt, and I don't know how to use them. They just sometimes spring to life when I need it, and I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't have a more satisfying answer.
You're right. That's not a very satisfying answer. But for some dumb reason, I feel like I believe you.
Do you know anything about them?
I know enough to be incredibly wary. All those years ago, when Griggy, Zoln, and I went and fought Nizet Tral, he had magic. A lot of it. Used cards. Nearly exactly like your own. When we killed him, I took those cards. And I've hid them. And they have been a secret for the past 40 years. Until what you know, someone else comes to town with that same exact deck. I don't know what sort of connection you have to Nizet Tral. I don't know what it means. I don't know what sort of danger you're in. Imagine that hand of yours could be a sign of something else that's happening to you, and you need to keep a very close eye on it. Because who knows? Eventually, one day, you might wake up and find yourself a curse as well.
I think Donna's stunned, silent. With that, I don't entirely sure how to respond to
As far
them.
as this curse, it wouldn't be related to Nizet Tral. It'd be something new. Has to do with wolves, seemingly. But you're Laymark. If there's a curse nearby, you'll sense it. You just need to follow that sense, and it'll lead you to where you need to go.
Again, still too stunned to really talk. Just barely a stammer of not even a word, but a beginning of a word coming out of their mouth. But they just nod. Thank you for your thank you. They'll turn around and God, I don't even know if they go back to the group. They go to their room.
As you turn away and start walking, Hala calls out one final time. Adana, I'm hoping that you have a good heart. That this isn't all some sort of play. But continue with caution. And keep that good heart at the forefront. And if you notice that hand of yours progressing up the rest of your body, or any other strange things happening, you need to warn the people you're with. Because they could very well be in danger.
They freeze when Hala calls out to him, but they don't turn around. And after hearing this, they kind of grab onto their cloak a little bit tighter and almost hide their hand within it as they go up the stairs.
Okay. Would anybody else like any other scenes for the night?
Nope.
Okay. Well, you all have a light heading, planning to head out in the morning, travel to Midminster Forest, hopefully find and handle this curse, continue on the way to Audino. However, this past day has been a full one. A lot of emotions has happened. So as you lay down to rest, we get to create or alter bonds. So let's do some bonds
Ooh.
really quick.
Bond time. Ba-na.
If anybody knows what bond they're going to create or strengthen, shout it out.
I just need to look at what the options are. I have one in mind. I just need to know what the actual thingy is called.
I know what I'm going to do.
All right, Stella.
I'm going to increase my bond with Adana and add affection.
Yeah.
Because I'm sad too.
I think I'm also gonna. So it's gonna be my first bond of Viscera, but I'm also gonna add affection.
Yeah.
Because I'm also sad too.
High five. We can be sad together.
So real.
I'm gonna do bond for Sinclair loyalty because we raise our families. I support that.
Yeah. I like that.
That's really sweet.
Cute.
Oh,
I'm
we did
gonna-
not
You're
hear
muted,
you,
Piper.
Sinclair.
Yeah.
I'm also going to do the same for Loveless because we are both
Aw.
sad boys who have lots of trauma from our families and very open to sharing and caring.
Well, like you sad, sick fucks. I didn't trauma bond with anybody this episode. But I did heal some trauma. So I'm going to bump up my bond with Loveless and go to loyalty. Because I did heal you the second I could.
So
Yeah.
real. No hesitation.
Do you still feel that way, even though Loveless's first thing that they said to you was to basically crack a joke?
Yeah, no, I mean, I am annoyed, but it's like, it's like a sibling,
It's true. And
What am I gonna do? Let you die? Bleed out?
And then Loveless would definitely woefully apologize when he realizes what the actual situation was.
Yeah, exactly. That happened when we were walking over to the funeral.
There's a lot of like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know you are. You better be. Exactly. You are sorry.
Incredible. You all rest up, feeling these bonds solidify as you do, preparing yourself for the next day, for whatever lies ahead of you. And that is where we're going to end our final session, except for another scene. The theater was a high-class affair in the imperial capital of Guaram. And as Hope arrived, she was indeed dressed for the occasion. Makeup was a rare thing in this world, it seemed, but Treaty helped Hope gather what she could. Red was Hope's color, and she was inflamed by it tonight. Her dress was made of fine fabrics of deep red that matched her lips and hair, decorated with gold thread that complemented her eyeshadow to show both her wealth and position in the Empire. Showing her ticket, she's quickly escorted to the highest floor of the theater, into the most private box seats that hang high over the entire building. As her attendant leads her inside, Tetsun rises from one of the two comfortable seats positioned next to one another. He turns to her, and his expression immediately softens in a way that only Hope could spot. Various servers pour wine and place light snacks on the tables around the box as Tetsun raises his arm and calls out, "Leave us." The servers all leave and close the door to the box. Hope jokingly raises the ticket with a wry smile on her face. "The last relic, huh?" Tetsun smiles. It was good to see him again. "Well, every cutscene skipper deserves the opportunity to understand their mistakes eventually. Since we can't play LRO anymore, thought this might be the only way to show you the beautiful story you missed out on. At least the first part of it." Hope grabs a glass and moves to the chair positioned beside Tetsun's own, smiling. "Well, we'll have to see if I end up regretting it then." Tetsun sits beside her. "You will, trust me. I've been working with the playwright for the past couple of months, when I could, to make sure it's a faithful retelling." Hope looks over. Well, is our Demon King going to be a playwright as well then?" Tetsun waves his hand limply. No, I can't be. Only for this." A brief pause. "Only for you." Heat meets Hope's cheeks as the lights begin to dim. The sounds of strings fill the room as the lone narrator walks onto the stage and the play begins in earnest. In the darkness and the privacy of the theater, high above anyone else who could care to notice, Hope takes Tetsun's hand. And that's where we're ending our little 6-episode series.
Ooh.
Thank you so much, Emma, for an amazing limited series. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors and all of the people that helped make this possible. Thank you so much to everyone in chat. Thank you so much to everyone who's lurking and watching this on YouTube. Thank you so much to everyone who has supported us through the social media platforms. Thank you. And thank you to my wonderful cast as well. This has been absolutely excellent. But before we head out for the night, I would love to, for one last time for this limited series, to let you know who they are, where you can find them, and what their favorite part of the episode was. And we'll start with Emma.
Hi, it's me, Emma, also known as Emma Panada. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Emma Panada. I'm also writing a TTRPG called All the Witches. You can find info about that at allthewitches_ on Twitter, or you can look at our Kickstarter page to keep up with like everything that's going on. But yeah, thank you so much everybody for letting me GM this. The story of this was Drac tweeted one day and was like, "I desperately want to play an isekai version of this game." And I hadn't heard of Fabula Ultima, but then I looked it up and ended up reading the entire rulebook that night and messaged Drac and was like, "Hey, I'll GM for you if you want. And then this game kind of spawned from there. And I've had a blast, and thank you for letting me GM this for you.
What was your
Thank
favorite
you.
part of today?
Of today, oh golly. I loved Lovelace's reaction to seeing his sister and telling her to go fuck herself, I think, and the ending there. That was great. That's juicy role play.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll pop on over to Drac.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jack or Draconics, and for this limited series, I played Adana. You can find me on Twitter and all social medias at Draconics. It's DRAKONIQUES. And honestly, follow me on Twitch as well, because I might be doing some Twitch streams in the coming near future. But yeah, I'm a TTRPG producer, performer, everything, anything TTRPG related, I'm doing or will be doing. Yeah, this all came out. I can't remember what was happening at the time, but I was like, I'd been introduced to Fabula Ultima earlier, and then I think Emanuele, the creator of Fabula Ultima, followed me. I think, and I was just like, okay, I should actually read this. And after reading it, I was like, no, I really want to play this. I want to play this, and I think it'd be fun as an isekai. Let's do this. And then yeah, Emma, Emma, reached out, was like, do you want to GM? And then yeah, I talked to Stella, and we just ended up making a whole production. It was meant to be initially start off as a home game, and then we were like, what if we made it like a thing? So we ended up making it a thing. Stella did a lot of work. I want to put that out there first of all. Stella did a lot of work.
You did a lot of
We
work.
all did a lot of work putting this together. But yeah, we'll see. This series was very fun. I'm gonna throw it over to Alex.
Ooh. Hey everybody, I'm Alex. You can find me at Ghost Chicken RPG on all social media that I don't use. I am really into designing games, working on testing games, and I'm also designing a game that's piratical in nature. And yo-ho, you can clearly tell I truly love pirates. Yeah, no, I mean, I think wanting to echo and resonate on what Drac had just mentioned, this was supposed to be a home game at first, and then it kind of spiraled into this larger production. And at the end of the day, I just like playing with this group of people, whether it is a home game, whether it's streamed or not streamed. They are all wonderful in their own different ways, and it's been an absolute pleasure for these 20-ish hours or so of game. Right, 6 times 3, 18-ish, maybe more like 16 to 18. Yeah. Math. Favorite thing about this episode. I like the scene with Viscera and Adana. I think breaking down some of those boundaries and those walls, because it's only been 3 days in game. And I think seeing that kind of like develop over time is gonna be great and cool and awesome and fun. And with that, I'll pass it over to Liv.
Oh, I'm Liv. You can find me on really any social media, although I only really use Twitter right now. I feel like I need to fix that, but I won't. Anyway, but you can follow me online at Live in a Day. I'm Liv. It's my day. I'm living it. But yeah, I have played Cielo. I'm gonna be so sad that we won't play for I don't know how long. We'll see. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Playing with you all. You're all very incredible. You're all very talented. I feel like I've pushed myself and grown and developed by being at this table with you all. So, yeah, it was a blast. My favorite part of today's game, I think, was probably the speeches and more dwarf lore. Love me the dwarves in this game. That was fun. Much appreciated. All right, Piper.
Hi everyone, I'm Piper. I have played Sinclair in this mini-series. You can find me on Twitter at Maddie Matihi, where I mostly just stream bi-weekly on my channel, What We Do in the Shallows, which is a queer romantic pirate TTRPG. And last episode was a blast. And I've had a lot of fun. I've had such a blast with this cast. I feel just so warm and happy being with everybody here. I love each and every one of your characters. I'm such a big fan of everything that all of your characters are doing. And I just can't wait to see where we take this and where they go, especially with the exam arc coming up. And I think my favorite part of today, I think it definitely was Lovelace's speech. I love seeing this kind of like accidental intertwining slightly of our backgrounds and just these similarities between our two characters. It's very beautiful, and to see kind of the echoes of what we experienced in kind of the real world being like affecting us here. I've very much enjoyed my time, and I'm going to pass it on back to Stella.
Hi, it's me, Stella. I'm Stella Luna on Twitch, Stella Luna TV on other social media. I'm a TTRPG producer and performer. I do this all the time. So if you ever want to do more of this, come check us out on Twitter or join the Discord. That's where everything's organized. I absolutely have loved this. It all started for me when we did the world building together. I especially love that part of Fabula Ultima where we got to all creatively apply some input into making this into a real thing. And we didn't get to talk a lot about it during the sessions, but we all know bits of what we wrote together, and I cannot wait for the inevitable season 2, whether it's gonna be in a month or 6 months or 2 years. Whenever it happens, there's some very delicious, juicy lore that's gonna come out, and I'm super excited for y'all to live through that. But my favorite part of today's episode was the funeral, and as everyone was talking, because you could see in their faces of everyone that was talking and in their voices, everyone was getting kind of emotional, and it just felt so raw, and it was absolutely fantastic and speaks to the talent of the folks here at the table. I just want to say that I'm honored to share this table with you and to have gone through this limited series with you. Thank you so very much. And especially thank you, Emma, for all of your tireless work that you've put into this and organizing all of the lore and all of the work you've put into the game mastering side. Like, I know it's super hard. And you have been an inspiration, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. But that's going to be it for us tonight. Please check out all of the links for the folks here. I've dropped them into the chat. Please follow them. Please keep up to the various projects that they're involved in. And hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Bye
night.
forever.
Don't say that.
Oh my god.
Bye.
Oh god.